Hello, and thank you for tuning into this week's Mayor's Update. As always, we have a lot of important information to share with you here today, so please feel free to share this video with your friends, family, relatives, and anyone else who you think may find this information helpful over the course of the next week. Before we begin, I do want to say, just because several people have called me out on it this past week more than I thought, yes, I did shave. I understand in last week's video update, I mentioned that I was participating in the police department's charity No Shave November to help a local childhood cancer patient here in Gardner. Several of my classmates at Suffolk University Law School also won their elections to office this past year, so we had an interview scheduled with a Boston news station, so I did have to shave for that. However, I will tack on, as promised, another 2 weeks into December for the charity event. I normally wouldn't be mentioning something like this, but I have been blown away by the amount of people who have mentioned something about it, so I just figured I would at least start this week's update off with that. But in other news, we had a very exciting day on November 11th here in the city of Gardner. We started the day off with our annual Veterans Day ceremony. Due to the current COVID-19 guidelines and regulations and the restrictions on the amount of people that can gather in one place at one time, we did have to do it on an invitation-only basis run through the Gardner Veterans Council. However, even though it was run on an invitation-only basis and we had to limit the number of people who could attend this event, it does not by any sense minimize the meaning behind that event that we have every year. I want to say a very personal thank you to our veterans for your service to our country and the sacrifices you made while in your service to our country. Your city is all behind you when we say that, and I want to thank the Gardner Veterans Council. That's an organization made up of the Montezuma Veterans Council, the Gardner VFW, and the American Legion, and several of our other veterans groups who put both that event and our Memorial Day event on annually every year. I'd also like to thank the city councilors who also joined for that event as well, to make sure that the city continues to remember and to honor the veterans who made it so that we can share the freedoms that we currently have here in the United States. Later on that day, we had the groundbreaking ceremony for Gardner's brand new elementary school. This is the first elementary school that Gardner will be constructing specifically as an elementary school in the past 100 years. Gardner High School, Helen May Sauter, and Elm Street School were all constructed to serve as Gardner High School. Waterford Street School and Gardner Middle School were both constructed to serve as a middle school. The last time the city built an elementary school was when Prospect Street School was built in 1923. Prior to that, Gardner's schools were all spread out around the city, except for Gardner High School, that was always considered the, quote, consolidated school. So it's nice to see the city make this investment in our educational system here in Gardner to help give our students a very high quality and rigorous education that they deserve while in a productive learning environment. In particular, I'd like to thank our superintendent of schools, Dr. Pellegrino, and his special assistant for the school building project, Dr. Stephen Hemmond, for getting us to where we are today with the new school building project. And I'd also like to give a special thank you to my executive aide, Colin Smith, School Department Grants Administrator, Courtney Dunn, and School Department Facilities Director, Wayne Anderson, for making sure that we were able to hold the groundbreaking event in full compliance with the current COVID-19 guidelines, and making sure everyone stayed safe in a healthy environment, but we're still able to celebrate us putting our best foot forward here as a city as we step into this next decade with this brand new elementary school project. Site work on the Pearl Street location for the new school is set to begin in 2 weeks' time, and I'm very excited to see where this takes us. I'd also like to give a special thank you to Executive Director Jack McCarthy from the Massachusetts School Building Authority for being with us for the groundbreaking as well. For those of you who may not know, the Massachusetts School Building Authority is funding $40.1 million toward this construction project, and I want to thank them very much for their partnership as we construct this new elementary school. The new name for the elementary school will be released sometime next week after the school building committee votes on the finalists after the survey that got put out, and those finalists are Gardner Elementary School and Chair City Elementary School. So we'll see what happens there. But as we celebrate our 100th year as a city in 2023, exactly 100 years after we built our last elementary school, I can't wait to see the ribbon cutting and where we've progressed since the original groundbreaking ceremony. I'd like to give a special thank you to our firefighters as well. This past week we had a 2-alarm fire over on Coburn Avenue. When the initial call came in, there were questions as to whether if someone was trapped in the building or not, but our firefighters got there, did their jobs, and made sure everyone, including all of the pets, made it out of the building safe, unharmed, and got the fire out in a very short amount of time. I'm always blown away by the amount of professionalism and just genuine precision that our firefighters have in the jobs that they perform for the city, and I can't thank them enough for making sure that our residents and their property remain safe in those emergency situations. I'd also like to give a special thank you to those departments who offered mutual aid during that 2-alarm fire. The departments from Winchendon, Westminster, Ashburnham, Hubbardston, Templeton, Fitchburg, and Barrie all provided mutual aid during that fire to help contain it to just that one single building. So thank you very much. And to those who were living in that house that burned down, if you need any help at all, please feel free to reach out to my office and we can certainly connect you to the resources here and help you in any way we can. One of the staples of this community is that whenever tragedy strikes, we all help each other up together by working together. So if you do need anything, please feel free to reach out and we can help you in any way we can. We've received several questions both here in my office and in the city clerk's office about the use of felt tip markers on election day. I want to assure the public that our vote tabulation machines that after you go vote, you slide your ballot into them are brand new as of this year and came with several felt tip markers, and the instructions in the manuals for those voting machines is to specifically use black felt tip markers with them. In fact, our poll workers had to inform people who brought their own pens, no, you have to use the felt tip marker on your ballot. I understand there are several questions right now of the validity of using felt tip markers on voting machines in Pennsylvania and Nevada. However, here in Gardner, the election could not have been run more efficiently, effectively, and smoothly than what our city clerk, Alan Agnelli, and his team did for this past election. So please do not worry that we had felt tip markers at the election. They are required for our type of voting machines, and I have full confidence that our city clerk did everything he could to make sure it ran as smooth as it did, and I can assure you that everyone who submitted a vote had their vote counted, no matter if you used a felt tip marker and you heard something on the news somewhere else. Our election could not have run better. So if you have any concerns on that, you can call the city clerk's office at any time, but I do want to assure you that that was the proper writing utensil to use to fill in your bubbles on the ballot. The License Commission met this week to vote to unanimously approve the proposal that I presented to them that I mentioned last week to waive liquor license fees for on-premise consumption. So this means restaurants like the Gardner Ale House, Williams, Southside, the 99, as well as our social clubs, the Deer Club, Acadian Club, Napoleon Club, the Veterans of Foreign Wars, and the American Legion. All of those types of licenses for anywhere that has a bar for service where you can go in and order a drink, we are waiving those fees as a way to help get those locations back on their feet during the current pandemic situation. This affects about 27 businesses and organizations here in Gardner. We're doing everything we can to continue to try to make sure we are supporting our business community through this pandemic, given the hardships that all of us are facing. And we hope to see a light at the end of the tunnel soon. I do want to thank the License Commission for their unanimous vote to endorse this proposal. And I look forward to seeing what other ways we can come up with to help support our business community as we progress further on in this project until we can get out from underneath this pandemic as a city and as a community as a whole. So thank you very much to the License Commission for their support in this matter. The school department has launched a new phone application called Here Comes the Bus in partnership with NRT, our school bus company. This app allows parents to be able to track a school bus from when it leaves the bus depot till about when it gets to the bus stop by your house. So you can see when to send your student out of the house to the bus stop to make sure that they are not standing too long in the wind, rain, snow, sun, sleet, hail, and any of the elements to make sure that students are safe and secure as they're waiting for the bus. Parents will also be able to track when their student's particular school bus made it to the school and is on their way back from the school to the school bus stop after school is done. Parents who are interested in this can download the app and then contact the superintendent's office for a school code and a student code. You will only be able to see your particular student's bus on the app. You won't be able to see every bus in the district for privacy reasons. However, you will be able to track your student's particular bus. So if you have any questions on that or would like to further your information on this, please contact the superintendent's office at 978-632-1000 and ask about the Here Comes the Bus program. This currently does not cover our special education buses or our mini buses. However, we are working with a developer to enable that technology to happen in the next phase, hopefully in the very near future. But for right now, this counts only for the larger yellow buses. Our paving projects are nearing their completion, and I hope to see them done within the next couple of weeks here. Over in South Gardner, crews have put the second and final coat of pavement on High Street, Lovewell, and Whitney. And Sawyer Street had its final coat of pavement put on this past week as well. The only thing left to happen over there is that we will be redoing asphalt sidewalks on several of the streets that had sidewalks. Those should be done within the next couple of weeks as well. And after that, the South Gardner Infrastructure Improvement Project will be completed. Very excited to see that work done, and I want to give a special thank you to our DPW Director, Dane Arnold, as well as all of the crew and staff at the Gardner DPW for making sure our paving projects were able to be done by the time winter hits this year. We were also able to start paving over on Clark Street and hope to have that project completed in the near future as well. And crews were out on Main Street in downtown, finishing up digging out all of the manholes and metal structures in the street. As I said before, this is not the usual process for paving to go and pave over the metal structures and dig them out. However, because we are putting a second layer of pavement on, in the springtime, we are digging them out now, and then when we put the next layer of asphalt on, we will raise them again and then pave around them as is the usual practice. So this is how that will sit for the winter time, and then we'll finalize that in the spring before we then go down and pave Parker Street next year. As I mentioned in last week's update and in the update before, the state has launched a new program called the My Local Massachusetts program, in which it tries to highlight different locations to visit here in state, since many out-of-state locations, vacations had to be canceled this year because of the pandemic. The one I'd like to highlight this week is actually the Gardner Museum. Several of you may know the Gardner Museum from its annual Festival of Trees. However, this year the museum has decided to change things up a bit just to reduce the number of people who are there at one point in time. And they're doing a special Christmas holiday gift shop. However, the museum is also open year-round, not just when it's Christmas season, and has a lot of very interesting items of Gardner's history. So I do highly recommend you going up to Pearl Street and visiting the Gardner Museum. There's a lot about who we are as a community there, and it's a really special place to see. So do try to get out and visit that museum sometime, and particularly now that they have their current holiday Christmas gift shop running as well. More information on that can be found on the museum's website and on the museum's social media sites. The thing that we are going to close today's update on is just a reminder that if you would like to participate in our special Christmas video that we are putting together in lieu of having our annual tree lighting ceremony and caroling with the mayor, please do contact the mayor's office by emailing csmith@gardner-ma.gov, rstefano@gardner-ma.gov, or giving us a call at 978-632-1490 and let us know. We are accepting videos of either people singing Christmas carols or of people just gathered together saying Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, or whatever greeting you would like to send to the community. So please feel free to send those in. The deadline for that is December 9th. That way we can get that ready to air over the course of December on the city's YouTube page and over other outlets as well, such as GETV and the city's website. However, that's it for this week's update. I look forward to speaking with you all again next week, but until then, please make sure you keep track of your own mental and physical health, and do watch out for each other in these trying times and check in on your friends, family, and relatives. Please be sure to stay informed by keeping an eye out on the city's website for things that may come up before the next update. But until we speak again, thank you very much and have a good day. I look forward to speaking with you next week. Thank you.